Hashem, there's a lot of Torah spreading around the world, and that's actually one of the nevuot, one of the prophecies that's going to happen. Gemara says before Mashiach comes, Torah says, Tanakh also says it, that people are going to have a hunger. They're going to be very hungry. They're not hungry for food, not hungry for material things, but hungry for spirituality, hungry for a connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And you're actually seeing it all over the world. People are waking up and asking difficult questions of what's the purpose of life? Why am I here? Why do I have problems? Why does everybody have problems? The point is that you want to ask these questions because you want to answer the safek, the doubt that you have inside you. Because if a person is a real person, if you're an honest person, intellectually an honest person, once you've answered all of the doubts that you have, at least the main ones, about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, about Am Israel, about the Torah itself, once you know that Torah is from Hashem, once you know that Hashem is real, then if you continue violating Shabbat, it's really crazy. Then you just put you in a mental institution. Why? Think about it. If a king of flesh and blood came over here, said to you, listen, if you raise your right hand, I'm going to kill you. How many of you are going to raise your right hand? No one. Why? Because you don't want to die. Which means, if we know that Hashem Yitbarach is the one that wrote the Torah, and He is real, and the Torah is real, and the Torah says, don't walk around immodest, and the Torah says, don't go with goyim, and the Torah says, don't eat non-kosher, and Torah says don't violate Shabbat, and so on and so forth. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu wrote the Torah, and the Torah says all of these things, only a crazy person would violate it. Now, we don't live in a generation of crazy people. We live in a generation of ignorant people. The vast majority of people are ignorant. They simply don't know. Either they don't know at all if the Torah is real, or they don't know at all if Hashem is real, or they know that Hashem is real, and the Torah is real, but they don't know that the punishment part is real. They don't know that when Hashem wrote all of the punishments in the Torah, He was serious. They think, yeah, listen, if you keep Shabbat, you're a tzaddik. You don't keep Shabbat, you're still okay. Why? Because sometimes you have people that call themselves rabbis that tell you stuff like that. Just because they want your money, so they want to make you feel good about yourself. So they call you a tzaddik. For no reason. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says who's a tzaddik and who's not a tzaddik. Torah clarifies who's a tzaddik and who's not a tzaddik. He says who I love and who I hate. There are some people that Hashem hates, and there are some people that Hashem loves. He doesn't love everyone. Anyone that tells you that Hashem loves everyone is lying to you. Why? Because the entire Torah describes the people He loves and also the people He hates. But sometimes you have difficult people. There's not that many, but unfortunately enough to drive you crazy, that even if they hear the truth, even if they know that Hashem is real, even if they know that the Torah is real, even if they know that, you know what, yes, there's punishment, but I'm not ready for it, Rabbi. I'm not ready to keep Shabbat yet. I'm not ready to leave my girlfriend from Christine. I'm not ready to leave my boyfriend, Jose. I'm not ready because I like him. He makes me happy. Yeah, but he's not Jewish. He's not going to make you happy in Gehenom. I'm not ready. Oh, you're not ready? Okay. So when are you going to be ready? Oh, later on. How do you know you have later on? Who promised you later on? Who promised you that you're going to live till next week? Who promised you're going to live till next month? Who promised you're going to live 120 years? Even though it writes on the birthday cakes until 120, who promised you're actually going to live? It's only a cake. So sometimes there are certain people that are so delusional that even if they know the truth, unfortunately, they still violate. And we have it in our Torah. In last week's Parashat Korach, time of Korach, all of Am Israel saw miracles that no other nation, no other people has ever seen before. They literally saw HaKadosh Baruch Hu open the heavens and show them what's there. They saw Hashem split the ocean into 12. They saw Hashem turn the biggest, strongest civilization that ever existed, the Egyptians, turn into nothing. But yet, they unfortunately had a few Reshaim among them, a few wicked people among them. In last week's parasha, we have two people called Datan v'Aviram. And Datan v'Aviram, even after Moshe Rabbeinu came to them and he said, listen, you know that Hashem is real. You saw what He did to the Egyptians. He said, yeah. He said, you know Hashem split the ocean. He said, yeah, we were there. You know that Hashem just gave us Matan Torah, opened all heavens, everything. You saw everything, yeah? You saw His voice, yeah, not hear it, you saw it. Every time Hashem spoke, there was words in the sky. You saw the voice, you saw everything. Yes. And you're still going against me? You're still going against Hashem? Datan v'Aviram, it says, ויעלו מעל משכן כוח, דתן ואבירם מסביב, ודתן ואבירם יצאו ניצבים, פתח העליהם ונשיהם ובניהם בטפם. Datan v'Aviram went out erect at the entrance of their tents with their wives and children and infants. Meaning after Moshe Rabbeinu tells them the whole truth, says, listen, do tshuva, stop it. Stop messing around. Hashem is not your friend. He's God. They went out with their heads up high. No, nothing's going to touch me. What are you talking about? Me? No, I'm fine. I'm a tzaddik. They made their own rules. They made their own Torah. They went out arrogantly, even though they knew the truth. And their end wasn't pretty. HaKadosh Baruch Hu opened the ground, swallowed them, put them into Gehenom, and they will never ever see the light of day. Why? They knew the truth, and they still violated. So now, Rabotai Yekarim, what we try to do, before we start questions, what we try to do is to enlighten you and everyone else that's watching and will watch in the future, Bezrat Hashem, with what Hashem said. We're not judges, we're not jury. The reality is that everyone here is obligated to learn what the truth is. What you do with it, that's your business. You listen to the truth, you're a very smart person, according to Hashem. You don't listen to the truth, you're a very foolish person, according to Hashem. Why? Because you listen, there's reward. You don't listen, there's punishment. But not only in the next world, here too. You see all of the people that live without Hashem, not only do they have problems like everybody else, but they have problems worse than everybody else, and worst of all, they have a meaningless life. They have no hope, no dreams. And that's why the suicide rate in the secular world is exponentially higher than the religious world. Very, very rarely do you ever hear of a religious person committing suicide. Very rarely do you ever hear of a religious person getting a divorce. Very rarely do you ever hear of a religious person overdosing on drugs. Yes, it happens. Over 30 Jewish kids overdosed on drugs just in the last month, Hashem Yirachem, in America. 9 of them died. They thought they're going to live. When they were taking drugs, they thought they're going to have a good time. We're just going to have a good time. But then they died. 9 of them died, 6 are in a coma, and Bezrat Hashem, the rest of them, hopefully going to be okay. Especially if they stop doing drugs this time. So it happens. It happens. Some of those people, unfortunately, were not, were religious people. It wasn't just non-religious. So it does happen. But if you compare this 30 versus the rest of the world, it's nothing. Not even a fraction. Point being is that when you have a connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you have a reason to live, you have an instructions of how to live, and you have answers to your questions. Unfortunately, the people that usually end up committing suicide, overdosing on drugs, having a divorce, usually they did the mitzvot, but they didn't really know why. They just did it because somebody told them to. They grew a beard because it grows for free. They put a kippah on because they had a bald spot. They went to Beit Knesset because they wanted to hang out with their friends, not because they wanted to go hang out with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So yeah, they were religious in practice, but not inside. What we try to do is spread the truth so you are religious inside and outside. And that's why, Bezrat Hashem, we try to do this shiurim. We sacrifice everything and anything we have so you guys can have the truth and Bezrat Hashem build fantastic families one day full of kedusha and without all of the problems of the secular world.